Hello my dears, welcome to my channel, TrulyTranian, and today's topic is petticoats. And I'd like to discuss a little bit about the history of the petticoats, and basically they're derived from the jupe. It was a garment that was worn as a skirt or a dress, and then it was covered with a highly decorative robe in the early 18th century. Now, in the 19th century, in the 20th century, the petticoats had several functions, is to allow the petticoat to become soiled and then cleaned, because the outer garments are quite precious, and those garments are absolutely harder and difficult to clean. So that's why it also formed the various silhouettes throughout the period. So it does help have a different look for every time, and then it would be either attached to a bodice or as separates tied at the waist. Now today's garment that I'm wearing is called a wrapper. This was a comfortable gown that a lady would be wearing in the house or her estate, and so basically I'm going to show a bit of it. So it has a lovely lace, Venice lace, and I made it in about a week, so it's quite fun. But the petticoats I'd like to show today are working ladies' petticoats, and it's quite funny about this one. The first one has a beautiful Valenciennes lace and a lot of pin tucks. This was actually used to be a christening gown, but I changed the christening petticoat and I changed the waistband. And then this one is actually more of the 1880s, as it has a crochet, and I'm also wearing my new spats, so you can see that there, or spatter dashes. But basically I'm wearing something comfortable and for the home, so that's basically what I'll be presenting today. So this is the first petticoat, and it's around 1905, 1903. So it also has this beautiful flat Valenciennes lace, and it's worn as a Modesty petticoat. Modesty petticoats were used so when you accidentally spill over in the streets maybe, or you have fainted, you see this first and then the rest of the garments. So this is very pretty. I just use this as a normal Modesty petticoat, and this one just goes about this one below. This is a very special petticoat because it was given to me. I had purchased it. Actually, this would have came with a negligee, which is a robe-like piece, and it is absolutely sumptuous. It has a beautiful lace, and this is about 1905 as well, because it has a slight train, and it basically it has the inserts, which has beautiful white work, absolutely gorgeous, and the trims are all in Valenciennes, and it's absolutely sumptuous. So a lot of these petticoats I have to repair myself, and this is one of them. This one had so much damage, but I was able to fix the insert lace, and this is a beautiful Valenciennes lace as well in a simple leaf pattern. Now this is a another Modesty petticoat, and it's quite funny. Some of the skirts may be depicted as younger girls' petticoats because depending on the length of your skirt or petticoat denotes the age. But this one is just a lovely example of eyelet lace. So this is the next petticoat. This is the one that I wear most often. It has the most structure, and it also has a stronger lace. This is what you would wear maybe underneath the petticoat, and then you would have petticoats that would have a much more intricate detail or decoration. And I adore this because this is around the 1890s, so it has a bit of oomph in the back, but it also gives quite a beautiful flair. This one's also from the 1890s, and actually imprinted in the back has a name, Man. So that was the owner. Back then, the reason why they printed or put their initials on their garments, because they would send it to a launder. So you would need to have your garments to be laundered, and you would have to know how to get it back. So people did mark their name in ink, or they wrote their name in ink. And this one is Mrs. Mann. That's the initials that were on the petticoat, and this one's also a lovely eyelet lace as well with the white work and the pin tucks. So this one also gives a nice flare too, but I generally wear this on top of that one if I'm doing the 1890s. It's a bit heavier too, so that one is basically what I wear for the 1890s. So this is the next petticoat. This is actually a Parisian petticoat. It actually has the most slightest pink if you look closely, and it also has a very lovely Valenciennes lace, and a lot of Spanish lace came into the country, and a lot of people were clamoring after it. But any type of color on a garment denotes that the original person had money. So this one is the most slightest pink, and you would actually have certain undergarments that would have a slight color, and to enhance your gown. This is another petticoat I wear often, but this is actually from the 1880s. The reason why I can tell, there is a seam right here. It kind of has a bit of bump in the front, and then in the back I have to put another safety pin because I'm quite petite, but there's a lot of gathering in the back. And this is the next petticoat. This is actually one of my other favorites, and it also has a lot of Valenciennes lace. Some of the pieces from 1910 and 1909 generally has this row of Valenciennes lace on the bottom, and then it has these inserts to place. A lot of these, the silk ribbons don't usually survive, so they're usually out. I usually don't, place new ones because they're quite cumbersome when I do wash my garments, and I do wash these often, the petticoats, because they get soiled first, so I usually do not replace the lace inserts. But maybe one day, my favorite color is actually yellow. I might put a canary yellow or a light pastel yellow to enhance it. Alright, we're almost there. Okay, so this is the next one. This is an 1880s petticoat as well. You can see the gathering. All the gatherings are a bit different. Each period has a different silhouette. If it's a more bell shape or S-curve or crinoline, they all have these different silhouettes. Unfortunately, I don't have any pieces from the 1860s, but this is just an example of the sumptuous lace that they do have. Now, this is a great example of a petticoat with a train in the 1905 or 1903. It's so beautiful, and it just has this gorgeous silhouette. Unfortunately, it is quite tiny, so it also has insert lace. It actually, I remember when it came with a very pale yellow, and it also has the pin tucks, rose pin tucks, and Valenciennes lace, and it has a beautiful trim on the bottom. So this one's a great example of what you might wear on the promenade, or walking in the gardens, or even using it for a ball. So generally I use these for dresses with a longer train, or just to add that emphasis in the back. So the next petticoat, it's actually is not really a petticoat, it's one of my skirts. It's one of the separates that I wear for a gown that is much longer. It has a 2-layer flounce, and then it has a beautiful long train. This is very characterized of something you would see in 1903, and it trains very beautifully. And generally you would wear a dust ruffle under this. A dust ruffle is basically a garment that is like a petticoat but has much more concentrated flounces on the hem of this. Is the next one, and this is a very sumptuous piece, and this is actually from the 1870s. One way you can tell it from that period is because of the silhouette. And also, like I said, the laundering marking right here. So if you would like to zoom into that, it is in cursive, and it's very beautiful. And you can see, calls for a bustle. And let me turn it here for you all to see. And it has 3 flounces. So 1, 2, 3, and this is what a petticoat you would wear during that time, either to a ball or just around the house. This is the last one, and this is actually, I saved the best for last. This is actually also one of the skirt covers, and this is a exactly circa 1900. The one way I can tell is from the way of the flounce, but also the period was still transitioning. Victoria was still on the throne, so it has a train as well. Thank you so much for staying tuned through my antique tour, and I do appreciate the feedback that I'm getting, and I hope to post more.